Oh, I'm going to throw up. Oh, f*** you. Hey, everybody. It's Lisa Lampanelli. And, they said it wouldn't happen. They said, hey, will Beau McDowell, Lisa's guest, ever get invited anywhere twice once they've seen and heard him? They said no, but I said yes. Yes, he's back because honestly, I didn't get to any of the shit I wanted to ask you about in the first episode because I am dying to know about a fall down drunk who ends up going from a messy little bitch to being a married, and I put this in quotes, man. So here is my friend, Beau McDowell. Beau, tell people where they can find you.
You can find me at Beau McDowell Comedy. Beau is spelled B-E-A-U.
Ugh,
Look me up.
stupid. I can't stand it.
TikTok.
Yeah, whatever. Also, here is Celia, our producer. Say hi, Celia.
Hi, Celia.
Okay, Celia can be found at Celia__Romano. She's taken less abuse with Nick not here. So I think you would rather have Beau in the studio.
I think so, too.
I know. That will not be a surprise to hear when you're Nick and listening at home because he doesn't listen anyway. God forbid he'd hear his own voice.
Piece of shit.
Yeah, well, shut up, Beau. So Beau is here because he was here last week talking. Well, last week. I'm clearly wearing the same shirt. And by the way, let's address the shirt. We didn't even address the shirt.
So great.
Okay. My friend Gay Brian.
Yep.
Not that I have a straight friend, Brian, but Gay Brian went and got me a shirt that AI made up. I guess he fed my picture to it. And it says cinnamon toast cunt. And has me. And that does look like my dog,
That does
Parker.
look a lot
that
like
looks
Parker,
like Parker.
yeah.
But this... I don't look like that, do I?
No.
Thank you. I mean, and in a strapless sequin dress, for God's sake. But the reason I bring up, thank you, Brian, for the shirt. But the reason I bring up the shirt is because, clearly we're taping this in the same day because I held you over. So, Beau, part 2. And if you didn't listen to episode 1, go back and listen to it.
Oh, you missed out on some gems.
Well, no, the fact that they know your story, that you were blackout drunk by 21, that you finally got sober, you picked up CBD, but that doesn't count, supposedly, and you've been sober for 9 years. But what I really invited you to talk about is what I want to talk about now, which is... It fascinates me, this whole dating and or being in a relationship before and after sobriety. How does it work? How does it look different? So your dating life, you were an awkward teen who didn't really date much.
Yeah, I wasn't the toast of the town.
Yeah, you looked like Shrek.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to let you have an ass grab.
No, it was very, there was a lot of defense being played in my direction. But I dated here and there. But the thing is, when you're drinking, you're not such a great date, especially when you're really drinking a lot. So I was very emotionally shut off and numbing myself.
Okay.
And so, if I was some hot to trot guy, if I was this Harry Styles she speaks of, then, there would be some women that would be willing to jump along the ride for that.
Right.
But when you're a fat smell and it's gross to be in the same bed with you, there's not a lot of women that are going you know what? He's numbing and he's miserable and he doesn't really talk to me about anything emotionally and he's gross.
Well,
so
that's the thing. It's what do you these poor women, though, you think to yourself, they must have really hated themselves.
Yes, yeah. I had some. Yeah.
Because there wasn't a justification. And I bet a lot of them did the rescuer thing we talked about last episode. Sure. They were like, well, if he falls in love with me, I can change all that. Was there any of that in your life?
No, because I was clearly not.
There was no rescue. They were like, rescuing would not ever occur to them.
I also when I was going out when I was younger, I never thought I'm going out to get laid tonight because it was not in my I didn't have that as a confidence level. I was never if I really go out and wear my nice shirt,
your Hawaiian shirt and linen pants.
Yeah, they're gonna be flocking. Yeah. So I never thought that would happen. I was more you ever seen Superbad?
Of course.
When they're like, dude, how are chicks gonna hook up with us unless we're not drunk? Yeah. That was the prevailing thought of the day. So it was yeah, dude, I'm gonna go and the focus is gonna be on partying and drinking and using drugs and hang out with my friends. And if I back my way into a piece of clam, then there
we go.
But
Right.
like, I also have nothing to offer at the end of that. So like, some girls, you have like a night, and then you just go like, yeah, man, you should probably, just keep it moving.
Were there girls you hooked up with who actually wanted to like see you again?
Yes.
I love how I have the most disgusted look on my face because like you're cute now, but also I can't imagine a guy cute enough when he's drunk and crazy.
No. And I think that there are a lot of women that were like, there's something there with you.
Yeah, because there is.
Yeah.
You're a good human being. There's
Yeah.
something good inside, and women can sense that, some of them.
Yeah.
But that's tough to see through the rest. So there were a few
Yeah.
that kind of were like, I want a little...
Especially when I was younger, there were a few that were like, I just don't understand why you're doing the things that you're doing. And I was like, well... hit the road.
So you couldn't even go there.
No, but I wasn't really open to having the emotional discussion of like, what's going on with you?
So there was no let me. You could not respond to let me love you through this, Beau.
No.
Desperado, why don't you come to your senses?
Yeah, I
You've
was
been out
very much
riding
like-
fences.
Dude, the walls were so up. But I mean, there were fun nights, and there was
All right, calm down.
There were girls
All right,
that you could joke with and just have a good time with that
Right.
I still would talk to these days. Like friendships.
We
and
call
stuff.
those people Celias.
Yeah.
So what, Beau, changed? Like what? So in your first relationship, how old were you like when you had your first real relationship?
23.
23. So were you sober yet?
I had just gotten sober.
Okay, we touched on this last episode just
Yeah.
briefly. So how many months or weeks or days sober?
Maybe 90.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Because
Yeah.
90 is a big thing in AA and all the
Yeah.
program because you're supposed to go to 90 meetings in 90 days. Did you
Yeah.
do that?
I did, yeah. And the whole time I was like, into
Scouting
this
for
girl.
clam?
Yeah.
And was she there the whole time?
Oh yeah. We went to all the same meetings together, and that
So
was the
basically, you
thing.
should, if you want to actually take your sobriety seriously, folks, go to single sex meetings.
Yeah.
If you are straight,
Yeah.
and opposite sex meetings if you're a gay guy. If you're a gay guy, you go to the women's meetings. That's what I'm
Yeah.
thinking. So you see
yeah.
this girl at AA.
Yeah.
Did you like her from a distance?
I did, yeah. I mean, I just she loved like the attention that I would give her, and I kind of was just like, okay, I'm gonna feed that as much as possible,
Sure.
so that I can, and it was very much like, we're just talking after the meeting by our cars for 3 hours, yeah, and like it's also that thing of like, we're not supposed to be doing this, really amps up anything, so like
It's like when you're, I don't know, working somewhere and like you're banging a coworker.
oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, the secret. You never want that to get out because it loses its luster. So did anyone in the meetings know you were doing that?
Yeah, and like people were
Oh.
definitely like, "Hey, man, you got to stop doing that."
Oh, shit.
And I was too far gone in the direction of like, I need this, and so like I had friends that were like, "Dude, you're gonna relapse. This is really bad." And then like over time, I just I turned that into a relationship. It lasted a few years. The breakup was really hard. The aftermath of it was like, oh, I never got to learn how to be alone. So now I'm doing the early part of sobriety over again.
Again, you got to do it
Yeah.
again. Lucky you. But thank God without the booze.
Yeah, and you know what? Like, I was always so bad at that, and I ended up giving myself this 2-year buffer to like really like clean up my head a little bit. Everything happens for a reason.
Wait,
is how I
so
look at it.
2-year buffer meaning you didn't date for 2 years?
No, meaning like I gave myself this 2-year buffer where I didn't have to deal with the loneliness that like
Oh,
being in early
okay.
sobriety
So
is.
that served its purpose,
It
and
did.
then you redid it sort of from the beginning.
Yeah,
sobriety.
I mean, really, after that relationship ended, it felt like I was back in like day one sobriety because, when you have that like security blanket of a relationship there, it's really easy to use that like a drug of like, okay,
Sure.
this is my thing I can focus on. This is the thing that's gonna make me feel better. Is she okay? As long as she's okay, I'm feeling okay, right? It's all codependent bullshit, and I was deep in that, and that's why that relationship had to end. But like the second that it ended, I was like, oh fuck, oh shit, like I am now, like I have to rebuild me liking me. And that was a long process, I would say. I mean, it was a like 5-6 year process. It was not a, because they're always like, oh, wait a year until you start dating. And it's like, how many of us, if we took a year to learn how to love ourselves and be comfortable alone, would actually get there?
Right. Yeah.
So you have to like let it take the amount of time that's going to take. And I did. I did a lot of work on that. I remember calling friends and being like, how do you show yourself affection? Because the only way I knew was the spank of the bank.
What we call Nick. Yes, you would just jerk Nick off.
But I remember friends being like, dude, have you ever cooked for yourself? And I'm like, yeah, I mean, a fucking egg or something.
Right.
But it's like at night, like going to a grocery store, like picking out what I want to eat, going this would be an exciting thing for me to eat tonight. I'm going to make it for myself and sit there like, doing like things that build your self-esteem. Yeah. Like, and make you feel like, oh, I'm taking care of myself. Like it's all these little things that you have to keep trying and keep working on doing. And then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I feel like I'm okay. And then it was the whole thing of like, am I okay in front of women? Right. That became a whole other problem. Right. Because then once I lost some weight and women were looking at me more, it was like,
they never were.
Listen, checking me out. No, but it's like that. Once they started looking at me more, I was like, oh, okay. I need to like every single one that likes me. I need to like close that deal now because that is going away tomorrow. They don't know that like this is like I'm gonna, you know what I mean? It's like I'm in a hot streak right now. I don't know what it is, but it's going away. There's no way I can keep this up. And then I, after years of that, I was like, oh, okay, women do like me. And
I mean, one does.
Yeah, and then you start to not feel like at first you're making up for your childhood with dating. Yep. Because you're going like, nobody looked at me the way I wanted to be looked at. Right. And then they do, and you almost like hate them for it, because you're like, why now? Yeah,
it's like the one who complains, I hate the old thing of like, well, guys never looked at me when I was fat, and now they want to be with me now I'm thin. I'm like, yeah, because you actually like yourself a little more. Yeah. So I'm like, well, like, look at yourself.
Yes.
And see what you need to do different.
Yeah.
So did your self-esteem sort of catch up because of that 5-6 year span?
It did a lot, it was all about, like I said, all those things, but it took like just the time and, working with great therapists. You introduced me to an amazing therapist. I did a lot of good work with a few years ago. And it's stuff like that just gets you ready for being able to be in a real relationship. Right. And like accept the fact that like, because you get into a marriage and it's tough. You're dealing with somebody's hopes and dreams and their inner child and your inner child and their parents and what they did to them and your parents and what you did. So there's just all these factors, and you have to be able to pull yourself out of it and not live in that unconscious space of like just always being in hurt mode or always being in sensitive mode and like and
you can't be responsible for their feelings, and they can't be responsible for yours. It's not your job to fix them. Yeah. It's not their job to fix you. So I imagine it's so delicate.
Dude, it is. And like when I was first getting sober and dating, or I had that relationship that didn't work out, it's like everything she did, every time she had an emotion that I felt scared by or that seemed to affect my mental state, I felt like I had to come in and fix it because, was playing the role of like, she's my mom. Yep. And mommy has to be okay and all that shit, man. And then, you watch that just kill you inside because you can't live in that state. It's so, it's, it's awful. And you like, and you have to like just let all that go and then figure out like, why am I doing that? Why am I looking at the person that I'm dating like my mother? Yeah. And and then time goes by and you actually, if you work on it, you might meet somebody that isn't like your mother, and you might like them.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Whereas if you stay in that shit, then you're just going to keep meeting the people that...
Mommy, daddy
you
for the
just
rest of your
keep
life.
going back to the same well.
Yeah.
You know?
So what was it about? Because you met I'll call her your current wife because I don't imagine it'll go that long term. Just kidding. You met your wife how many years ago?
A few, almost 3 years ago.
Okay, so what made you recognize that this is different? And I don't mean from the like, oh, I saw her titties and oh, so you're not Nick, or like I just knew like that fucking bullshit. Like what made it actually feel different internally?
Well, I really like respected her, and I liked the way that she carried herself. Like she was so confident, and so she had this like aura of like, yeah, I know what I'm doing, and I'm like ready to take on the world, and that was something that I was just like so amazed by at first. That was like my first reaction to her, and then over time, like, she became a friend first. Like my wife and I have a really strong friendship where like I can hang with her and we laugh and fuck around, and we have a very similar sense of humor. There's nothing that offends her, and we have that as our basis. So like when other stuff comes up, like I know I can always go. We can get back to the friendship part too,
right?
So like, and that's stuff that I never wanted to, or never had the time or the interest in building, because I was looking to get a fix from my childhood out of the relationship, not looking to experience a new person and again gain a friend and a lover and all that shit.
So it was sort of. In the old days, it was just like getting the fix. So an addictive thing.
Yes.
Did this not feel addictive?
No, it didn't. I mean, obviously when you're falling in love with someone, there's always a sense of like, it feels really good. I want to be around all the time. But because I do stand up pretty well. People have
Ish.
said.
I call it stand up in quotes.
Yeah. And
by the way, you don't stand up. You sit on that
I'm
fucking
a sitter
stool.
now.
I can't stand it. I hate you so much. Sit down comedy with Beau.
That's right. He's gonna pontificate.
I know. Thanks for your lessons that you bestow upon the audience.
Yeah, I'm a well of information.
Yes, you are.
Say. But one of the things I loved about my wife when we first met was like, I'd be like, yeah, I got a show tonight, and she'd be like, okay,
I don't want to go.
Not interested.
Yeah, no.
Like that. Just overall, like I get it. Like you're funny to me.
So she'd
on the
seen your
side.
comedy and didn't want to go. I get it.
Yeah,
I understand.
But that's like that's how a friend would react.
Yeah,
because I have friends that I've known for years, and I go, oh, I'm playing them, and they go, I don't give a shit. They don't want to see it. They don't care. They like our friendship. That's that's the value.
Right.
And I always felt like I needed to come up with all these other different types of values to show women, to go like, here, look at me, I'm on stage, here, look at me, I'm these things.
Yes.
And to see someone like literally be impervious to all the things I was trying to show her, like she was like, oh yeah, you got a decent job, and you're
it's fine.
It's like you're fine. It's you that I like,
right?
Yeah. That's what gave me this like feeling of like, oh yeah, I could be with this person, because it wasn't out of anything that
you didn't have to
lied.
like jump through hoops. You didn't have to like impress.
No.
For some reason, she liked you.
Yes.
Were you kind of surprised though? Not because of bad self-esteem or anything, because kind of like when it's so different, it feels so different.
Yeah, it was weird. It also felt like, I think when you meet somebody and it starts working, and I was dating forever and it was never working. It would always feel like you're getting on the track, and then all of a sudden, all right, it stops, and then you have to get off. Like that's how it always felt. And to feel like, oh shit, the rides just keeps going. We're still doing this.
Yeah.
Like that was kind of surreal, because you're like waiting for something to be wrong.
Yeah.
But I think at the same time, it's like, okay, after a certain point, you just go, we're still going. So
did you ever do the self-sabotaging thing of like trying to make something wrong, trying to
Yes.
find problems?
We had like our first big fight.
Yeah.
And I remember we like met at the diner to
Right.
like talk it out.
Right.
And like I showed up all diner. And
Yeah.
I showed up all like, I guess this is it, you know?
Yeah.
This has got to be the end.
Yep,
you know?
yep.
And like immediately went into it like, yeah, you're probably going to leave because I did this or I wasn't good enough in this way. And she was like, this isn't a breakup talk, you fucking idiot.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in fact, like, why did you ask me to meet me at a diner? Just come over and talk to me about this shit. Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, okay.
Then that was so different for you.
Yes, yeah. I was expecting like the big show. You know, here's the big show of how you're going to say I'm wrong and this. And she was like, why just like come over? Let's just talk about it and figure it out. We already know that this works. This is one little thing, dude.
So how does that behavior loop back to alcoholism and sobriety? Like what's the big difference in dating then and now?
Well, when you're in an active addiction, you don't really have space for other people, but you also don't have space to look at a different perspective because you are just kind of stuck. I mean, you know, I could not see that I was like harming other people when I was drinking. I couldn't see like, oh, I don't understand. Like, you know, those people who are like, I'm so sorry, you know.
You feel I was a mess. It's like, no,
Yeah.
you were drunk in my driveway.
It's weird. You were like upset that I blacked out the other night
Yeah.
and threw up on your couch. I don't really see it that way.
Yeah,
you know, like
it's that guy.
Like it's
Yeah.
your inability to see another person's point of view of what's happening. Because if you saw their point of view, you would feel awful and want to change your life.
Right.
But you can't. That's the denial, right? It's like I have to put up this smoke screen of like you don't have any like you don't have a leg to stand on why you're mad at me, you know? And so yeah, if you're in a relationship with someone and the whole thing is like everything I do is right and everything you say I do wrong is impossible to prove and you're crazy, then that's how you become. That's when women go, he's a narcissist, and they're right.
And they're right.
Yeah.
Well, so now, you know, even though old habits die hard, sometimes do things kind of, do you still have a reaction as if you're still a drunk and then have to catch it?
I'd say not a drunk, but I have a reaction of I'm still the child. So like Brittany and I, my wife, like, we'll be having a conversation about something and I'll go, here is the ideal Beau's version of events and version of how I'm dealing with this thing, right? This is me at my most spiritual, understanding where you're coming from, understanding all these things. Here is the child that's completely fucking afraid that you did this or you said this and I can't be this all the time. You know, and that's the problem is like as much as I want to act in my ideal adult, amazing spiritual way all the time, like you spend too much time with your wife, your significant other to really be perfect. And you can't expect yourself to be perfect either. Right. And your wife, your significant other has to know like, he's not going to be perfect and it's okay. And sometimes I'm going to be like worse and whatever. So I think it's like noticing it and then going like having the communication skills to go, yeah, I was bad there. That was not great. That was me being a child. That was me afraid that you would leave me. That was me afraid that you saw me in a way that I don't like being seen. You know, that was all that shit.
Yeah, well, we notice that the kid's driving the bus instead of what I like is wise self. Yeah. Like the wise self, it can't happen every minute of every day, you know, but the fact that you can even acknowledge, oh, that was my kid doing that and explain it is really good. Right. Because that kid didn't get what it needed at the time. Right. And it's like, oh, then your significant other can kind of understand that more. Yeah. By the way, do you know what I think about with you? Did you ever have the balls to have sex with your shirt off? Because, like, I always think with...
Not in the early days,
like, I was like in the early... Because when you were a large guy, Trust me, I've had plenty of guys leaving their shirts on because they needed to put the tarp on.
Yeah, you got a tarp
Did you? So in the old days, you'd keep the shirt on.
I was a big shirt on guy. Yeah. Especially in college.
Did you swim with the shirt on?
No.
Oh, wow,
no.
That would be even
that's
worse.
another level. Yeah, I was, No, but I definitely, just that vulnerability when you're drinking, you're like, I'm keeping the shirt. I look good in this shirt. You lie to yourself. You're like, no, I'm fucking hot in this shirt. What are you talking about?
You Winnie the Pooh it. Yuck. Oh, I'm gonna throw up.
And no one's upset at you for keeping your shirt on back then.
That is absolutely true.
Yeah.
Yes, we got some letters for you. It's the mailbag. We got the letters for you up in the mailbag. Beau, get the letters out. We're going to read some letters today. Ow! Beau is talking about relationships, sobriety, and all that crazy shit. And every time you say wife, it cracks me up because I still can't believe you're married. It's wild.
It is.
It is. Do you still feel weird saying it?
Yeah.
You're getting a little more used to it?
It still feels like another guy saying it. I'm like, yeah, my wife at home. That's why sometimes I use the voices. Cause
you have to.
It just makes it feel more comfortable.
That's all right. All right, read us a letter. Let's try to help these drunken
All right,
fucks.
Stephanie, 29, New Jersey.
Oh, boy.
Dear Lisa, my name is Stephanie. I'm 29.
Well, thanks for that.
Hey,
okay. Hey, what's
Stop
happening?
repeating yourself there. And just got out of a relationship that was basically built on codependency. I'm newly sober, newly single, and suddenly realizing I have no idea what a healthy relationship even looks like. Do I need to find myself before dating again, or is it just a TikTok therapist myth?
Find yourself! I am sick and tired of these serial monogamists. All they do is go from one to the other. And in my experience, having been that person up until age 50, what happens is you end up dating the exact opposite of the last one.
Yeah.
So I remember dating a guy in my 30s who was a big drunk, dumb as fuck, really not even a college degree. Can you imagine? And I said, I break up with him. I date the biggest nerd on the planet who's like an engineering type genius and sober as a judge, if you will. Not Judge Judy, but another judge who's sober. And then you date the opposite of that. So she needs to shut that vagina up, go to Codependence Anonymous meetings, in my opinion, and work on why you think you need men as medication. Because, Beau, I will tell you, Lisa Lampanelli, no stranger to this behavior. I went to a codependency rehab, and they tell you not to date for a year. Well, guess what? I'm scared straight, so I don't. I'm like, no, finally, I'm age whatever in my 40s. I'm like, no, they're right. Like, it's finally time to take a full year. And I was like, I'm going to take 1 year and make sure I, quote, get through the holidays single for the first time since high school. Well, guess how great I am. I'm bragging now. I got through the holidays, but I said, I'm going to be single for another year and see what it's like to have the holidays be happy and more than get through. So I was stone cold sober off these men for 2 years. I think that was the way to do it. I found it at 40-something. I wish I'd have done it sooner. I would have skipped a lot of the potheads and the drunks. So my advice to, what's her name? Stephanie from New Jersey. Shut the clam up. Stop it. Close for business. Look at yourself. By the way, if you need a good book on beginning codependency work, Codependent No More by Melody Beattie. It's the Bible. Go to Codependence Anonymous meetings, even Al-Anon meetings, because sometimes there's an alcoholic or drunk in your background. Beau, do you agree? And even if you don't, I will not hear of it.
Close the clam.
That's right.
Stephanie.
Next letter.
Dear Lisa, this is from Allie at Dix Hills, New York.
Who?
Allie. I believe
Allie.
Dix Hills.
Dix Hills. Allie Dix.
Allie Dix. All right. Dear Lisa, I've been dating a guy who is sober and goes to AA meetings a few nights a week. He's great to hang out with, but I always feel weird when I order a drink at dinner. Do you think that my drinking in front of him may be hurting his sobriety? He says he doesn't care if I drink, but I still worry. Thanks.
Why doesn't she try to just ruin the relationship? I told him. He told me it's okay, but is it?
Yeah.
I'm asking you, is it okay? He already said it is, but is it? It's like we said in the last episode. if his sobriety is threatened by your fucking Cosmo or your Moscow Mule in a little brass container, or is it copper? I don't know. That's the one I got wrong on the weakest link. I would say the guy's telling you the truth, but keep your eyes open. If you she said he goes to meetings a couple times a week, right? So that's pretty good.
Not bad.
He probably just does it to get away from her because she's annoying with this asking.
Yes.
Beau, can women ask these things
They
too
can
much?
ask. They can. Yeah. And you know what? It's about her. This is about her being codependent. It's like. It's her being like, oh, like, I don't know, am I causing? And it's like, if someone says they're fine, you got to take them at face value. You have to, like, accept that your actions aren't affecting the world the way you think they are.
Ah.
You know?
So it's her own inflated sense of self-importance and godlike qualities.
That's right. I'm so important. I'm such a big part. He's hanging on my every word.
Yeah. He's about to. He's going to make me go into the restroom and he's going to sip my drink.
Yeah.
Oh God, it makes me sick. Women, stop it.
Yes.
My
He's probably
advice
looking at you going, "That's kind of gross. Why is she having 3 beers?" Like, take it easy.
How many like drinks should somebody have before you're like, whoa, that's a problem?
I say 3 is like that's a normal amount of drinks, I would say, to have.
Okay.
And even on a date, I'd think 3 is probably a little bit much.
Yeah.
But it's kind of like your max, right? Like,
right.
If you're going past 3 drinks, you're going like, we're drinking.
Like, I always think it's weird when a woman will drink like a bottle of wine. Isn't that 4 glasses?
Yeah.
That's a lot. I don't know. I'm not judgy, but I am.
Yeah.
So I always go when they go, I like after work, I like
just knock back a quick bottle.
But why? By the way, why do you need something all the time to take the edge off?
Yeah.
So stop it. Everybody, just stop with the drinking. That's my advice. Next letter. Do we have one more?
We got one more. And Annie in Tucson, Arizona.
Who?
Annie.
Oh, they're so uncreative.
Dear Lisa.
No, you never meet a Lisa. That's why it's creative.
I know like 7 Lisas.
Yeah, well, maybe you're just hanging around with the right people.
Actually, okay.
Hello. You shouldn't even be telling me. Okay, Annie, get your gun.
All right, Annie. I'm 27, and most of my friends are now microdosing with mushrooms and no longer drink. I still like to have a few drinks when we go out, but when I do, I feel like they're judging me for it. If microdosing with mushrooms any better than drinking alcohol, or is a drug a drug?
Listen, I think a drug's a drug. Although I don't even know what mushrooms are. I wouldn't even know. I remember once this guy, it was like a fun little couple night stands, like a guy when I was in my 20s in the city. And he gave me one night, he said, I'm going to leave these here for you. And it was a bag of mushrooms. And I didn't know what to do with that. Yeah. And my friend said, ooh, he probably really likes you. I guess that's a big compliment, right? So I didn't know what to do with him. I think I just gave him away because I'm such a pussy.
Yeah.
But Beau, you are not a stranger to the drugs. Have you done like every drug there is except heroin?
I've done heroin. I've done all the drugs, but
wow.
Yeah, we gotta have a fun time, you know?
Yeah,
I've always wanted to meet someone who did heroin.
Now you see what a disappointment
you
it
can
is.
Just walk down the street in
Yeah.
New York.
Oh, well, I didn't like actually speak to someone because I'm so interested to know. Like,
well, listen, I didn't have a long run. I did it one time and it was an accident. So
what?
Yeah.
He accidentally
was it, like,
fell.
Laced?
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it was.
Wow.
This
That's
got
all right. We made it
really
through.
boring fast. Tell me about mushrooms.
Yes.
What is mushrooms, Beau?
Mushrooms are psilocybin. It's an ingredient in mushrooms that will make you trip, make you high.
Like an acid type of situation?
Yes.
What does this microdosing mean?
Well, it's something that like younger people are getting into now because they're saying that it has some like benefits. And they're trying to like basically get high without really getting high, and it's
but
some
it sounds
pussy
like
shit,
they're getting
if you
high.
ask me. Yeah, they're getting high, but it's also like it's not really healthy. It's not really a thing. Like it's kind of like now ketamine therapy is a big deal, and that's not a thing. I've done a lot of ketamine. There's no therapy involved.
Not for you.
Yeah. So I mean, and that's my judgment. But the thing is, like, if you're gonna drink a few drinks, if you're gonna have some mushrooms, like it's all the same shit. It's all
Right.
like, you should just hang out with some people that like to drink beers or have a few
Or
drinks.
how about you just like everybody doesn't have to do everything? Like I'm watching this great movie. Oh my God, it's so good. Have you seen If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You?
No.
Rose Byrne. She got nominated for an Oscar, right? It's phenomenal. And she has a lot of problems. Not her personally, but like her daughter has an eating disorder that's horrible. They can't figure out why she won't eat. She's a little child. She has a husband who's absentee. The apartment's falling down around her. And she's a therapist on top of it. And so has a bunch of needy clients. And she's always drinking a bottle of wine at night.
Yep.
And then she starts, I see her smoking out of it looks like a crack pipe, but it ends up it's just pot, right?
Yeah.
And part of me is going, how do and again, I get that I'm privileged. I don't have any of those problems. How come I don't need to take the edge off? Probably because I did for so many years do it with men and food that I'm like, that's bad. That's a slippery slope. Can you get through life without microdosing something or drinking something or having something to take the edge off?
Yeah, you absolutely can.
I do.
Yeah.
Do you?
I'm not taking any edges off.
What do you
I'm
think?
edged.
What do we do for our edges that might be considered unhealthy before we both sit here with big heads that we're so fucking great?
Listen.
What do you think you do?
I mean, food, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I like to go out and eat.
Yep.
Gambling for sure.
Oh.
You know, I'll play some poker with my buddies.
Okay.
Or I'll put $20 on a game.
Mm-hmm.
And
do you notice why you do that? Like as you're doing it, or like, oh, I know what I'm doing here.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know what I'm doing. You know, I'm like, yeah, this will be a more fun game. I'm gonna watch it with my friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna see what happens. Ooh,
But you notice you need that hit.
Yeah, it's a little. I know. Oh yeah,
the little addictive thing.
Yeah, I love it.
But since I'm perfect, do I have any of those things? I think I do when I say yes to things I don't really think are good for me out of habit.
Yeah.
So in other words, if somebody says to me, "Oh, would you like to do whatever type of show?" Well, I'm retired, but I'll come and I'll do this for you.
Yeah.
Because you get that little hit, the heroin, the little heroin.
Yeah.
So I think before I get all hoity-toity, it's like, well, you do it too.
Yeah.
It just
Absolutely.
that with drugs and alcohol, it's just gets so ugly so fast that it's easier for those of us who don't have the so ugly so fast to sit in judgment of it.
Right.
So I'm very judgy of the mushrooms or the ketamine or all that shit.
Yeah. But it's also like I can accept like someone wants to go and have a few beers.
Yeah.
You know, and like whatever your thing is, that like everybody's brain is wired so differently. You know, it's like there are people that are just more comfortable doing a certain thing to make them feel a little bit better. Not saying they should do it, but I'm saying like
They're allowed if it's not like leading to harm.
Right. Yeah.
Because I have friends who do a gummy.
Yeah.
And I used to get like furious about it and be like, "You're so weak." Like in my head, I'd say that. I wouldn't say it to them. I'd just exit their lives. But now I'm like, oh, maybe they're allowed to do that because they have something that it helps them with. And I can't even tell they're doing it.
Right. Yeah.
So if I can tell, then it pisses me off.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't know.
Don't make your problem my problem.
That is the truth. It's my favorite saying. I
Lisa
love it.
Lampanelli
And by the way,
stamp.
speaking of which, before we end, this California sober, me and you have laughed about this a lot. To explain what California sober is.
So it's when somebody only smokes pot
I hate these people.
and they don't drink.
But
and they don't do
I
other
don't
drugs.
mind if you smoke pot. I'm probably not going to be friend with you because I don't like it.
Yeah.
But at least just don't say you're sober then.
Right.
Just say I'm a pothead. It's
Yeah.
fine.
No, well, they need some credit. They need to, Oh, no, I've been through something.
Yeah.
And I'm smoking some weed. It's just, I mean, just for anyone to get high constantly and then call themselves sober is ridiculous.
And this happens, though. You've seen this.
It does. And, you know, where I see it happen and I go like, whatever, man, it's fine, is like, you know, there's a lot of people out there that have like major addictions with heroin or crack or something. And then they find themselves going California sober and you go, well, there is a case to be made that this is definitely a better situation that you're
that's
living
true.
in.
Yeah, I agree.
And, you know, there's harm reduction techniques that we, you know, are definitely helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But is it sobriety? No.
So it's just
not.
questioning the definition that they're using.
Yeah.
Because if you go, look, I used to do, like if somebody says to me, I used to be a heroin addict, and now all I do is smoke pot,
Yeah.
and it's manageable, and I'll never, hopefully, do heroin again, you go, yeah, your life's better.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
to be like, I'm sober, give me a
Yeah.
hit. You know,
Right.
it's like weird.
Yeah, it's not. And I think most people that are living that way won't like identify as sober. They're more like, yeah,
Okay,
no,
yeah.
I went through this and now I'm just doing this. Like,
What about, why does it bother me with these vapes? I don't get it. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Does vapes get you high, or is it just smoking?
It's basically just like smoking cigarettes, but with, vapor.
Is it addictive?
Yeah, very.
Because I got a couple people I observed, I'm not going to say who, they pull up in a car. All the smoke comes out. I see them and I said, I don't like that. They're young kids. That's
Yeah.
not good. So I'm like, I bust their balls about it. I go, stop with the vaping. What are you, a
Yeah.
big shot now?
Yeah.
What will that do to them eventually?
Well, we don't know. That's
Mm-hmm.
kind of the issue. Is like, with smoking, we have enough data to go like, this is what happens if you smoke.
Right.
Whereas with vaping, we're like, we can see certain side effects happening. Like there was a big thing, people were saying it gave you like popcorn lung, so it
Ooh.
like fuck up your lungs a little bit. But
Of course, the food addict in me was just like popcorn. Honestly, that's the first time I was like, oh, I'm hungry. Okay, so I'm there too.
But I also think like I think it's a lot more nicotine than people are getting from cigarettes.
Whoa.
So I think people are more addicted, and it's leading to more mental health problems. It's leading to, people.
Why do people do it so much? Do they think it
feels
looks
good, man?
It what? It
Feels good.
to vape because it's nicotine.
Yeah, it's like it also
So
just.
cigarettes make you feel good too.
Oh yeah, nice
Smoking's
ciggy.
cool too.
It's fucking awesome. You kidding me?
Like I've never smoked. I tried to once and I coughed and I looked terrible.
Yeah.
So I was like, forget it. Like, but
Yeah.
it looks so cool.
Dude, yeah.
I still, if somebody comes in off the street to a restaurant or diner or something and they have just had a cigarette, I'm like, oh, I love that smell.
Yeah, it's great.
And they think you're going to bust them on it. Like,
Yeah.
I remember saying to the guy, ooh, did you just have a cigarette? And he's like, yeah. I was like, no, dude, that smells so fucking good. I don't know if did you smoke for a while?
Oh yeah, I was a pack a day guy for a
Holy
while. Yeah,
shit.
I loved cigarettes.
Was that only post recovery or during?
no,
really?
no, the whole time. Yeah.
Because I know people like will pick up
Oh,
smoking
yes.
cigarettes
Oh,
in
yeah.
rehab.
Well, I
during the
remember in
recovery.
codependency
No, I was
rehab
on the
and in
train.
food rehab, the smoking pit was the coolest
yeah.
people.
Yes.
So I didn't really pretend I smoked, but I was like, can I just be in here and be cool?
Yeah. I mean, and there was nothing better than getting out of an AA meeting.
Oh,
Not
nice
sure
smoke.
what the next day's gonna look like. Firing up that cig.
Oh my God, it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish I was that cool. But if you're listening, don't vape.
No, yeah.
We don't know
it's
what
not.
it leads to. It's
Also, just smoke.
yeah, you know
You
what?
know what it's gonna be.
Yeah,
Like you're gonna look way cooler.
yeah.
Like just smoke, have a cigarette. Be like the edgy hipster guy who's like, yeah, fucking vaping and have a nice ciggy.
That
I
is
think
true.
it's the convenience part of it is that it's so easy to
Yep.
put in your pocket and bring with you, and you don't have to step outside or do whatever.
Oh, you don't have to go outside?
No,
Dude.
people do
What?
that.
People
do
vape
it.
in the house?
Oh my god,
I-
people do it in restaurants, in
What?
airports.
I was dating this one clam.
This
back
was
in the day.
pre-marriage.
Yes, pre-marriage. Sorry, Brittany, for the story. But
Like she's listening. She
she's
hates
not,
you.
Yeah, she's not listening. But I remember we were dating, and it wasn't for a long time, but she was big into vaping. And there's a sound that it makes when you suck on it. It's like it makes like a little crackle.
Yeah.
And I remember like we're in bed and it's getting late, we're going to sleep, and I just hear the crackle going.
Ew.
And I remember being like, oh, she's vaping over there
That's
under the
weird.
covers. I was like,
under the covers.
yeah, I'm like, dude.
Were you scared she'd see you with your shirt off?
Yeah, I was all covered up.
Because you're misshapen.
Because I'm a fat.
Bastard. Beau McDowell, thank you so much
Yes.
for coming in. You're, from what I hear, a comedian and author.
Oh,
What the fuck is this?
I've
Celia,
read-
by the way, Celia does research and gives me notes, and it says was a comedian and author. He's never written a sentence. This guy's so dumb.
My bad. I don't
no,
think I meant to do
it's okay,
that.
but I think it's funny.
Yeah, I do all
like
off the top of my
mistakes when
head,
I can
you
make
know?
fun of the person in the room. But Beau, Thank you for sharing your stories. Thank you for sharing your lessons. And also, if you want to see Beau do comedy, which I don't know why you would, look up Beau McDowell Comedy on TikTok and on Instagram. Look for Celia on Celia__Romano. Look for me at Lisa Lampanelli, or don't. See if I care. Thank you for listening. Thank you again, Beau, for showing up.
Thank you so much, Lisa. This was a blast and a half.
You don't sound like you meant it, but I think you did.
My ass is fully blasted.
Yeah, that's what they say. Yes, and listen, if you need help, I would seek sobriety and a shrink. But instead, if you want the easy way out, just send us a letter.
That's
shrinkthisShow@gmail.com. Please listen to our podcast on the iHeart app or wherever you get your other loser podcasts. We love you. Bye.